A fallen angel's journey. Life has a way of throwing challenges our way that can leave us feeling lost and adrift in an ocean of uncertainty. My journey, which has been a complex tapestry woven with threads of pain and strength, stands as a testament to the remarkable resilience of the human spirit when confronted with the inevitable hardships that life presents. On February 14th, 2025, a day traditionally celebrated for love and affection, I found myself ensnared in a profound sense of despair that seemed unreal. This particular day, marked on calendars with hearts and roses, served as a poignant reminder of my own loneliness and isolation. The world around me was bustling with couples exchanging gifts and sweet nothings, while I felt like an outsider looking in, trapped in a bubble of solitude. As I navigated through the emotional turmoil, the shadows of my past loomed large, threatening to engulf me in their darkness. Memories that I had tried to bury re-emerged, unearthing feelings of regret, heartache, and unfulfilled dreams. Each recollection was like a wave crashing against the shore, relentless and overpowering, pulling me back into a space I thought I had left behind. The weight of these memories was heavy, and it felt as though I was walking through a fog that obscured my vision, making it difficult to see any glimmers of hope or possibility for the future. Yet amidst this turmoil, I began to realize that within every challenge lies the potential for growth and transformation. It was during these moments of despair that I started to search for the flickers of strength I knew resided within me. I began to reflect on the lessons learned from past experiences, recognizing that each struggle had shaped me into the person I was becoming. Slowly, I started to understand that resilience is not merely about enduring pain, but also about embracing it as part of the human experience, allowing it to guide me toward a path of healing and self-discovery. This realization sparked a flicker of determination within me, igniting a desire to reclaim my narrative and redefine what love meant in my life, not just in a romantic sense, but as a broader concept encompassing self-love and compassion for oneself. As I wrestled with my tumultuous emotions, the shadows of memories regarding past injustices kept resurfacing, each one more vivid than the last. I found myself immersed in thoughts about the profound hardship faced by my father's family during the tumultuous 1900s, a time marked by struggle and strife. I could vividly picture their lives filled with relentless toil and the weight of societal oppression, reflecting on their suffering that seemed to echo through the generations. Stories of their resilience against adversity and the sacrifices they made in pursuit of a better life flooded my mind, creating a tapestry of grief and determination. Such realizations were haunting as they painted a stark picture of the challenges they endured, making me feel as if I were lost in a vast, unforgiving desert, yearning for freedom from my own pain. The scorching sun of despair bore down on me, and the arid winds of sorrow whispered tales of their struggles, leaving me parched for understanding and solace. In this emotional wasteland, I grappled with the weight of their legacy, trying to reconcile my own experiences with the injustices that had shaped my family's history and, in many ways, my own identity. Then I received a shocking call from the Mount Horeb courthouse, a place I'd never anticipated needing to interact with. The voice on the other end of the line was formal and stern, delivering news that felt like a punch to the gut. They informed me that a situation had arisen, one that threatened my most precious relationship, my bond with my daughter, which I had nurtured with love, care, and dedication over the years. The gravity of their words sank in as I explained that a fraudulent ticket had been issued, claiming that she was skipping school. This accusation will be unfounded, but also deeply distressing, as it was entirely untrue. In reality, my daughter had been at home, battling a severe pollen allergy that had escalated to such a degree that it caused breathing problems, mimicking those of sleep apnea. This was not just a minor inconvenience or a simple misunderstanding. It was a serious health issue that required our attention and understanding. The pollen allergy had rendered her unable to breathe comfortably, causing her to struggle with symptoms that left her fatigued and unable to focus on anything other than finding relief. Yet it was a bleak reminder of how the very institutions meant to protect us can sometimes become our worst enemies, especially when it comes to rare diseases that are not widely understood. The system, which should have been a source of support and assistance, had instead turned into a source of distress and anxiety, threatening to undermine the trust and security we once had. This incident highlighted the broader issue of how people with rare conditions often find themselves fighting not only their health battles, but also the misconceptions and bureaucratic hurdles that arise from a lack of awareness. It was a stark realization that even in a society that prides itself on being just and fair, there are moments when the complexities of individual circumstances are overlooked. As I hung up the phone, my mind raced with thoughts on how to navigate this unexpected challenge while ensuring that my daughter felt supported and understood during this unfaithful time. Despite presenting clear and compelling evidence regarding the unique circumstances surrounding my daughter's rare disease, and despite the diligent investigation conducted by Amanda Schrodel into the complexities of this condition, the response from various authorities, including the judge, law enforcement officers, the Dean Clinic, and even my daughter's legal representative, was dishearteningly dismissive. They all seemed to overlook the truth that was so evident to us, leaving us feeling isolated and unheard. This overwhelming sense of betrayal and frustration permeated every aspect of our lives and ultimately led me to make the profound decision to homeschool her. This choice was not made lightly. It was rooted in a deep desire to protect her from a system that appeared to be more focused on bureaucracy and protocol than on the well-being of a vulnerable child. I felt compelled to create a safe haven for her, a nurturing environment where she could thrive without the fear of being misunderstood or mistreated. Homeschooling became a refuge, a way to ensure that she would not only be shielded from potential harm, but also provided with the emotional and educational support she desperately needed, until I could secure the appropriate help and resources necessary for our unique situation. In this way, I aimed to empower her and foster a sense of stability in an otherwise chaotic world. Things took a turn for the worse as I grappled with my health, an experience that felt like a relentless storm battering against the fragile walls of my existence. The cops, who were supposed to protect and serve, left me in a diabetic coma, incapacitated and vulnerable, as if my life was a mere inconvenience to them. In those frightening moments, I was surrounded by indifference, a chilling reminder of how quickly compassion can evaporate in the face of chaos. The stark reality of my situation became painfully clear as I lay there, unable to move or speak, trapped in a body that had turned against me. There was another day, a particularly harrowing one, when I found myself convulsing on the floor. My children watched in terror, their innocent faces etched with confusion and fear, unable to comprehend why their parent was in such distress. Instead of the compassion I desperately needed in those moments of crisis, I was met with laughter from cops and EMS, who seemed to find amusement in my suffering. Their cruel reactions deepened my feelings of isolation, making me feel as though I was not only battling a serious health crisis, but also the apathy of those around me. This low point is one I will not soon forget, as it serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of empathy in the face of another's struggle. The experience left an indelible mark on my psyche, shaping my understanding of human nature and the necessity of kindness, especially in moments of vulnerability and rare diseases. Systemic neglect and the fight for justice. My attempts to seek help were largely futile, leaving me feeling increasingly isolated and desperate. I reported various incidents to the police, detailing the threats and harassment I was experiencing, but each interaction felt like a dead end. The officers seemed dismissive, as if my concerns were trivial or exaggerated, leading me to question the very system that was supposed to protect me. I also filed complaints with the FBI, hoping that they would take my situation seriously and provide the intervention I so desperately needed. However, my pleas for assistance went unanswered, and I was left feeling invisible, just like my disease, as if my voice was lost in the bureaucratic maze of law enforcement. In addition, I reached out to a handful of medical facilities seeking not just physical care, but also a compassionate understanding of the psychological toll my circumstances were taking on me. Regrettably, I encountered a lack of availability on purpose, as if the institutions were turning a blind eye to my plight. Each time I sought support, I was met with more pain and disappointment, compounding my sense of hopelessness. Local institutions, which I had hoped would be a sanctuary for healing, allowed my suffering to persist unabated. Instead of receiving appropriate care, I was further misdiagnosed with mental health issues, which overshadowed the real, tangible threats I was facing in my life. This misdiagnosis was not only frustrating, but also dangerous, as it diverted attention away from the actual problems I was encountering. The culmination of this neglect reached a critical point when I suffered a heart attack while confined in a mental institution, a place that was supposed to be a refuge, but instead became a site of trauma. The stress and anxiety of my situation manifested physically, and the medical staff's failure to recognize the severity of my condition only exacerbated the crisis. Additionally, I began experiencing seizures, a direct consequence of the untreated stress, lack of right treatment, and trauma I was enduring. These seizures were not just episodes, they were signs of severe brain damage that would alter my life forever. The impact of my untreated seizures forced me to confront these challenging realities alone, without the support I so desperately needed. I found myself grappling with the consequences of a system that had failed me at every turn, navigating a landscape filled with obstacles and barriers that seemed insurmountable. The isolation I felt was profound as I struggled to articulate my experiences to those who should have been my advocates, but instead I was left to bear the weight of my suffering in silence, trying to bear the pain and not think about killing myself. I felt immense loneliness, not only from the lack of support from those supposed to protect me, but also from friends and family who seemed distant and disengaged during my time of need. This profound sense of isolation only served to intensify my already fervent fight for justice as I grappled with the overwhelming realization that I was largely on my own in this struggle. The weight of feeling ignored by the very systems that were designed to provide safety and support was suffocating, creating a heavy cloud of despair that followed me wherever I went. Each day I found myself wrestling with the idea that my cries for assistance and understanding would continue to echo into the void, falling on deaf ears and leaving me feeling even more marginalized. The emotional toll of this neglect was immense as I began to lose hope, convinced that my cries for help would remain unanswered, further deepening my sense of abandonment and despair. In this dark moment, I yearned for connection, for someone to acknowledge my pain and validate my experiences, yet the silence around me was deafening, amplifying my feelings of loneliness and desperation. As I navigated this journey alone, I became increasingly aware of the stark contrast between my desire for justice and the reality of my isolation, which only fueled my determination to fight against the injustices I faced, even as I felt like I was battling an uphill struggle. Yet, amid the despair that seemed to envelop my life like a heavy fog, I found a spark of resilience that ignited a fire within me. At my lowest points, when the weight of the world felt unbearable and hope seemed like a distant memory, I turned to my faith as a source of comfort and guidance. I believed wholeheartedly that Allah had a purpose for me, a divine plan that was unfolding in ways I could not yet comprehend. This belief became my anchor, helping me to find solace in the midst of turmoil and strength to rise above my circumstances. Each prayer became a lifeline, a moment of connection that reminded me I was not alone in my struggles. The challenges I faced were not merely obstacles, they were transformative experiences that reshaped my understanding of justice and compassion. The pain I endured only fueled my desire for justice. Not just for myself, but for anyone trapped in similar circumstances, anyone who felt voiceless and powerless against the tide of adversity. I became acutely aware of the systemic injustices that plagued not only my life, but also the lives of countless others around me. This awareness ignited a passion within me, a determination to speak out against the injustices I faced, and to advocate for those who could not advocate for themselves. With each passing day, I grew more resolute in my mission to shine a light on the darkness that surrounded me. I began to engage with my community, sharing my story and listening to the stories of others who had also suffered in silence. Through this collective sharing, I discovered a network of individuals who shared my vision for a more just and equitable world. Together, we organized gatherings, raised awareness, and sought to empower those who felt marginalized and oppressed. I realized that my struggles could serve as a catalyst for change, not just in my own life, but in the lives of many others. As I continued to navigate the complexities of my journey, I found that my faith was not just a source of personal strength, it was a call to action. I began to see my experiences through a broader lens, recognizing that they were part of a larger narrative of resilience and resistance that spanned cultures and communities. This understanding deepened my commitment to advocating for justice as I became increasingly aware of the interconnectedness of our struggles. I was no longer just fighting for myself. I was fighting for a future where everyone could live with dignity and respect. In this pursuit, I discovered the power of storytelling as a tool for change. By sharing my experiences, I aimed to inspire others to find their voices and to challenge the status quo. I learned that resilience is not simply about enduring hardship, it is also about transforming that hardship into a force for good. Each story shared, each voice raised became a testament to our collective strength and a reminder that we could create a ripple effect of positive change in our communities. My journey, once marked by despair, became a beacon of hope that illuminated the path toward justice for all. Every part of me pushed to continue this fight, an unwavering determination that surged through my veins like a lifeline. I turned my pain, which once felt like an unwanted burden, into a potent source of inspiration, fueling my resolve to raise awareness about these systemic issues that plague our society. I understood that my struggles were not isolated incidents, but rather reflections of a broader, pervasive problem that many individuals face daily. By sharing my story, I aimed to illuminate the shadows where these challenges often reside, bringing them to light in a way that could resonate with others who felt similarly marginalized or unheard. On my journey, I recognized that my voice could serve as a catalyst for change, a beacon of hope for those who might be grappling with their own hardships. The act of sharing became a powerful tool, fostering connections and building a community of individuals who had faced similar challenges. Together, we could create a safe space where our experiences were validated and our collective strength could shine through. It was not just about my story, it was about amplifying the voices of many who had been silenced, ensuring that their narratives were also acknowledged and respected. As I engaged with others, I discovered the profound impact of solidarity and shared experiences. Each conversation revealed new layers of resilience and courage, reinforcing my belief that we could inspire one another to advocate for change. By uniting our stories, we could challenge the status quo, confront the injustices embedded within our systems, and work towards a future where no one would have to endure such struggles in isolation. This realization propelled me forward, igniting a passion to not only fight for my own rights, but to champion the rights of all those who had been affected by similar issues. In this way, my pain transformed into a powerful narrative of hope, resilience, and communal strength. Writing about my experiences became a crucial aspect of my healing journey. The act of putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard transformed into a vital outlet for my emotions. Each word I crafted served as a release, allowing me to articulate the emotional highs and lows that I encountered along the way. This process of reflection was not merely an exercise in storytelling, it was a profound means of processing my journey. By documenting my thoughts and feelings, I was able to gain clarity on my experiences, which often felt chaotic and overwhelming. The narratives I created became a mirror reflecting my internal struggles and triumphs. And through this reflection, I hoped to connect with others who had faced similar hardships. Sharing my story publicly was not just about my own catharsis, it was an invitation for others to find solace in their own experiences, to feel less isolated in their pain, and to foster a sense of community among those who have endured similar battles. Seeking justice in my circumstances also meant addressing the complex web of my internal struggles. I recognized that pursuing justice was not just an external endeavor, it was equally about confronting my inner demons. I made the decision to pursue therapy, understanding that this journey was not solely about healing from the scars of my past, but also about gaining a deeper understanding of the traumas that had shaped me. Therapy became a safe space where I could revisit painful memories that I had long buried, memories that often surfaced uninvited, disrupting my peace. By allowing myself to confront these memories in a controlled environment, I began the arduous process of healing. This journey was not linear. It was filled with moments of vulnerability and strength as I gradually worked to restore my self-esteem, which had been eroded by years of shame and doubt. Each session brought me closer to breaking free from the chains of my past, empowering me to reclaim my narrative and embrace a future filled with hope and resilience. Advocacy and collective efforts are crucial in driving change and creating a more just society. Through collaboration and shared goals, we can amplify our voices and make a significant impact on the issues that matter most. My pursuit for justice evolved into a profound advocate role for those who had faced similar injustices, transforming my initial personal struggle into a broader mission. Recognizing the pain and suffering endured by many, I felt a compelling urge to reach out to organizations that were deeply committed to protecting families and children from the systemic failures that had often left them vulnerable and exposed. These organizations, equipped with resources and expertise, provided a platform where we could collaborate effectively. Together, we initiated meaningful conversations that aimed to explore how existing systems could be reformed and improved to better serve those individuals who found themselves in the same situations, ensuring that their voices were heard and their needs met. Transforming our shared experiences into advocacy required not only individual courage, but also a strong sense of unity. By connecting with like-minded individuals who shared a passion for social justice and a commitment to change, we forged a collaborative movement that sought to amplify our collective voice. This coalition of advocates worked tirelessly, pushing for accountability within institutions that had historically failed us and many others. List of rare diseases. AZ database nordnord.com organized workshops, community forums and awareness campaigns, all aimed at educating the public and policymakers about the critical issues at hand. Our efforts were not just about raising awareness, but also about creating actionable solutions that could lead to tangible improvements in the lives of those affected by injustice. As I move forward on this path, I find that each challenge I encounter only strengthens my resolve to continue this important work. Every setback, whether it be a legislative hurdle or a moment of personal doubt, becomes a vital part of my journey toward the ultimate goal: achieving justice and understanding for those who feel lost and unheard in a complex and often indifferent system. I remain steadfast in my belief that through perseverance and solidarity we can create a more just and equitable society for all. Each story shared and every life impacted serves as a reminder of why this advocacy is essential, fueling my passion and commitment to this cause. My path is still challenging, yet it is filled with resilience, solidarity, and hope. Each day presents its own set of obstacles, yet I find strength in the unwavering support of those around me and the deep-seated belief that healing and change are not only possible but within reach. As I navigate this complicated road, I hold on to the conviction that every setback is an opportunity for growth and every moment of struggle can lead to profound transformation. I embrace the idea that the journey itself, with all its twists and turns, is a vital part of the healing process. I tell my story not just to share my struggles, but to encourage those facing similar challenges to find their own voices. It is essential to recognize that you are not alone in this fight. Your voice is important, and your story deserves an audience that listens with empathy and understanding. Each narrative shared creates a ripple effect, fostering a sense of community and shared experience. Together we have the power to build a world where justice is upheld, where pain transforms into resilience, and where love can indeed conquer even the darkest of times. It is through our collective stories that we can inspire change and ignite hope in others who may feel lost or unheard. Every journey is unique, shaped by individual experiences and perspectives. Let your voice add to the multitude of stories waiting to be told, for every contribution enriches the tapestry of our shared human experience. Together we can overcome obstacles and embrace the resilience that lies within us all. By sharing our truths, we not only validate our own experiences, but also create a safe space for others to do the same, encouraging a culture of openness and acceptance. Let's keep the conversation open on this vital issue and continue advocating for the justice we deserve. It is crucial that we remain steadfast in our commitment to raising awareness and fostering dialogue around the challenges we face. By doing so, we can work towards a brighter future where every individual feels empowered to stand up for themselves and others. Let us unite our voices in a chorus of hope and determination, ensuring that no one feels isolated in their struggles. Together we can create a movement that not only seeks justice but also champions healing and understanding for all.